Nolan is the shunting engine on the railway. He's a small green saddle tank engine with 4 small wheels. When the other engines have trains to take, Nolan gets their coaches or freight cars together. That way, engines like Steven can wait in the shed until their train is ready. When Jackson left the yard to run his branch line, the 3 big engines complained. They refused to shunt. This caused Sir Topham Hatt to purchase Nolan, a new tank engine. Though the big engines were shut up in the shed for their behavior, leaving Jackson, Michael, and Nolan to run the line. The big engines were let out after a week, as Alex was catching the steam engine equivalent of cabin fever. But as the railway's demand increased and Michael went off to run his new branch line, Nolan began to feel overworked. Thankfully, Sir Topham Hatt made plans.
Guess what?
What?
No, guess.
Guess what?
Exactly!
What? Hey, Abbott and Costello, shut up. Thank you. Now what's up, Nolan? Tell us the news.
Sir Topham Hatt's getting another tank engine to help me with work in the yard.
Oh, that's just great. 2 tank engines around here. This will be just like the time where Jackson and Mark stayed over here for 2 nights in a row. Is it time to ruin my day already? Oh, Jackson, is it time to ruin Kurt's day yet? Don't start without me! Except this time it won't end.
Well, I'll see you guys later.
2 tank engines? All the time? Wah! Nolan worked hard all day. He was determined, but couldn't help feeling tired as the day went on. Later, he saw Sir Topham Hatt. Are you alright, Nolan? You look tired.
Oh, you have no idea, sir.
Well, I have good news for you. The new engine is much bigger than you, and probably won't need your help. So, I have a plan for you. How would you like to help Jackson and Mark on the branch line? There's a lot of work to be done with the new quarry.
Yes, sir!
And he puffed away.
Hey, Steven, guess what?
Oh, dear God. The new engine arrived. You must be... Michele? There must be a mistake. I ordered Michele, and you aren't a girl. No, it's Michele. It's an Italian name. My fireman is Italian. Oh, Michele then. Actually, technically it's Michele, but Michele is catchier and easier to remember. Well then, Michele it is. Michele, this is Nolan. He'll show you the ropes. Later, Jackson will come and show you the rest, while Mark shows Nolan the branch line. Michele was enjoying himself. He worked hard, and Nolan found out that he was very friendly. Within the hour, the 2 were chatting like old friends. The 3 big engines carefully observed the new kid in town. Let's have some fun. And the 3 engines began to order him about. But Michele was not going to put up with it. Nolan, do the big engines tell you what to do?
Michele, I know exactly what you mean. And I know where this is going.
That's not exactly what I meant.
Oh. Yeah, we'll go with your plan.
Jackson and Mark were on their way to the yard. Sir Topham Hatt was on board Mark's coach, Sarah. But as they approached the shed, they heard 3 angry whistles. And when they arrived, Jackson and Mark both broke out into laughter. Kurt, Steven, and Alex all stood outside, while Michele and Nolan sat calmly in the shed, which was otherwise filled with freight cars. Sir Topham Hatt got out. "What is the meaning of all this?" "Well, sir, it'd be— No, not from you. Michele? Sir, we prepare trains for these other engines. That's our job. We do not, however, take orders from them. They do not rank higher than us just because they are tender engines. Only you, sir, have the right to give orders." "Michele and Nolan, I appreciate you bringing this matter to my attention, and for that I thank you, but I don't appreciate your method of doing so." The big engines exchanged victorious glances. Then he quickly turned to the big engines. "As for you, you caused the trouble. I am in charge of the tank engines just as much as I'm in charge of you. I run the railway, and all orders come from me. Now, Nolan, you go off with Mark. Jackson, you stay here with Michele and sort this out. Then teach him what else he has to learn." The two tank engines said their victorious farewells, and Nolan left. Jackson and Michele were also fast friends. They soon had everything in order, and after a few quick lessons, the two returned to the shed. The big engine said nothing to Michele all night. The next morning, the two set off, and Jackson showed Michele how to do the morning trains. They prepared a goods train for Alex. Alex collected his train, still not saying anything to Michele. "Thank you, Jackson. What about Michele?" "Oh, sorry, gotta go." Alex left with his train, and the two tank engines left to get the express ready. Stephen was approaching the station, Kurt not far behind him. The signalman, however, had fallen asleep, and awoke to the sound of Stephen's whistle. He scrambled to change the points, but he only made things worse. Stephen's tender was off the rails, and he and Kurt were both stuck, and since Alex had already left, there was no one to take the express. Sir Topham Hatt turned to Jackson and Michele a few minutes later. "We have to get the express going. Alex can take over from Rigger Station, but I need the two of you to get it there. It's about halfway. It will be difficult. Do you think you can do it?" "We'll do our best." "Don't worry, Michele. Without his tender, Alex is barely bigger than us, and he can pull the express alone. This shouldn't be a problem with two of us. We just shunted those coaches without any difficulty." Jackson's idea had a couple flaws. One, the two of them have coal bunkers and water tanks. Alex carries coal and water in his tender, so he has room for a much bigger boiler. Second, Alex was designed for speedy trains like this, while they were designed for forward and backward shunting work. And three, when they shunted the coaches, they were empty. Now they are full of passengers and luggage. Nevertheless, the two optimistically backed onto the train. The conductor's whistle blew and they set off. The two immediately began enjoying themselves. They passed Nolan at the junction.
Keep on going, guys.
This gave them confidence, and the two proud engines kept going. Soon the two were at Wobbleton Station. When Michael isn't busy, he helps other engines up Stevens Hill. "Do you two need any help?" He was almost sure what their answer would be. But pride had gotten to the two engines. They were overconfident. "No thanks." "Okay." And as if to prove their point, the two engines charged the hill. Steady, boys! But the two kept going. But about halfway up, they started to slow as they felt the drag of the heavy coaches behind them. They kept going, wishing they had accepted Michael's help, and finally, gasping for breath, reached the top, and they just let the weight of the coaches roll them down the hill. But when they reached the bottom, they were still out of breath, yet they still had to go on, and they did. Station after station. They were far away from the yard now, and they knew that there was no turning back. They could do nothing but strain on for the respite they would get when Alex took over. But they eventually saw a beautiful sight. Rigger Station, 1 mile. But about a quarter mile later, Michele started to feel the weight of Jackson's buffers on his own. Jackson was slowing down, and with 1/4 mile left to go, Michele was completely pushing Jackson and pulling the train on his own. "Don't give up now, Jackson! We're almost there!" Jackson started to give a little bit of pull, and with the final kick, the two pulled the coaches to the platform and brought the train to a nice, steady stop. Sir Topham had got out of the train to personally congratulate the two weary engines. Then together, they puffed slowly out of the way. Hey, great job, Jackson. And great job, Michele. And with that sole compliment, Alex puffed away, with little difficulty. Then the two tank engines began their long journey home. When Michele returned, he discovered that he had earned Stephen and Kurt's respect as well. Michele continues to work hard, and does a great job in the yard. But he never tries to do more than he can, and he always asks for help if he needs it. Michele and Jackson still look back on the day and laugh, though they secretly would like to try and pull the express again sometime. And Michele is always happy when Jackson, Nolan, or Mark visit the yard or the docks. Nolan was enjoying his new life on the branch line, and Jackson and Mark enjoy having him there too. And so, both tank engines are happy with their new homes.